All right, let's start off with a couple of hours ago, probably like 3 hours ago at this point, maybe three and a half. I'm sitting up on social media as I am editing together the Derek Bros TNT interview that I did. I wanted to put a bunch of videos in there from NASA, so it wasn't just the interview, etc. And I'm talking about last night's fights with my buddy. Awesome fights, actually. The Sphere, very cool. Should let people know where we're really at when it comes to holodeck-like virtual experiences and holograms that are moving. Again, another subject. So all of a sudden, my buddy says, it looks like they shot at Trump again, and he sends me the New York Post article. Now, the Post article, again, says shots in the vicinity, Trump taken away, etc. So I just put it up there. I asked the question. I'm like, shots fired at Trump again. Okay? So a lot of people in the comments, but the anonymous ones with the avatars and the bullshit profiles. Oh, it says it was two people outside squabbling, blah, blah, blah. Nothing to do with Trump. All right. That doesn't really seem plausible, but okay. Let's live in that version of imagination land for a second. So then the next thing I see in the mainstream that I pick up is that there's a possibility of an AK-47 being used. Now, apparently that's not the case. It's a different type of gun. They actually released a picture of supposedly a gun, a GoPro, a backpack, whole deal. And this is why I wanted to wait instead of just going live right away, because allegedly they have named this person. Allegedly, his social media accounts have already all been taken down. Apparently, he's in his 50s, has some connection to Ukraine, and possibly even fighting in Ukraine. So it looks like this guy's a military guy. And there are just so many questions already. But this one, let me just say this. This one would have been outside of the purview of the public. And I think for a lot of reasons that has to be discussed, and that's significant. Okay? So first and foremost, for all the people out there that have already said this is also staged, what are you talking about? There comes a time when it is really a detriment to your mental health, when you are so in denial that there is a real world outside of everything being staged. Okay? Does that mean that, Trump is going to bring down the deep state if he gets in there? I don't think so. Pretty tall order. But it also doesn't mean that the powers that shouldn't be the predator class don't want the guy dead just for what he has done in the past. Okay? I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Listen, at the very least, I think the assessment by people like General Michael Flynn and others that Trump buys us time if he's in there is correct. You can argue with me on that point, that's fine. I believe that obviously what happened in Pennsylvania was real. Obviously that guy was killed in the stands. I think there are up to 8 other injuries there. Okay? I think there was a lot more to the Crook story that fell out of the media. And now this guy, who apparently jumped out of an SUV, went along the perimeter of this establishment where he's golfing, knows right where he's going to be. And by the way, I don't know if the media has broken this yet, but Sean Hannity's story is very different from what you're seeing in the mainstream. I just want to put that out there also. Okay, so what am I talking about there? So Hannity, who claimed to talk to 2 different people involved, Trump and his buddy who golfed, says that he and him were golfing. They heard pop, 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 pop. They got thrown down by the Secret Service and Trump ushered away. Seems more than plausible, right? But why isn't that the mainstream story if that is in fact the case? Like, again, do they not want to talk about the guy that just took shots? So I'm going to guess that this guy probably got off at least one or two shots. Maybe there was a return volley. Maybe there wasn't. Hard to tell at this point. Still not out there. But the guy is in custody, was able to get away somehow. That's also pretty questionable. It'll be interesting what he has to say, right? Because this is the first time they've got this guy in custody. But again, outside of the purview of the public. And you wonder if anybody got shot. I doubt Secret Service got shot, otherwise they would have reported that already. But once again, another assassination attempt on a guy in what, 2 months? I mean, you could think what you want, but I feel like they're going to shoot him in the head. Came close once. Don't know how close they came the second time around.
Oh, yeah.
But that seems to be the theme of the show. And here's the deal. I really do believe that they're probably going to shoot him again. And whether it's on television or not, you know, Jones likes to talk about truck bombs and possible plane crashes. I don't think they're out of the realm of possibility either. I mean, let's be real. This is the real world. Okay? They stole an election in 2020. They are being super cavalier about World War III right now. Like, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day or the day after that if this crap continues. Okay? But, you know, again, yeah, I think that any honest person, okay, any honest person that looks at the evidence from the first shooting, knows they shot at him, knows they missed by inches, okay, knows that's a real thing, knows they still want him dead. I think anybody being honest who's looking outside of mainstream polls and in reality realizes Trump's going to win in a landslide even with rigging. It's going to be a lot tougher to steal this time around. And so, you know, you can say that this has fallen into the false left-right paradigm, but I'm telling you right now, they kill that guy. It is like the worst news for the country and the world. How about that? Not a good sign. A terrible sign. Like, do you realize how quickly everything would devolve if they actually shot him again today? And this time actually got him in the head? Be pretty quick. And then what happens? Who's the Republican nominee for president? Is there martial law installed? Is there a movement to grab whatever gun is used? All that stuff seems pretty real. I want to point that out. Oh, so what do you guys got in the comments section? I know they've revealed the guy's name. Does anybody have any of the supposed social media posts, etc.? I know that's probably going to be the next thing out there. I don't know. If you haven't heard, TNT, again, no longer around. Next week will be my last week there, as that is shutting down. Still be making sense of the madness on Patriot.tv. But once again, man, independent media going quick, going by the wayside. If you don't think that a lot of this is coordinated in the sense they wanted to shut down the media, they wanted to shut down big voices like InfoWars with those lawsuits and that, you know, attempted coup d'etat, them putting Bannon in prison. Come on. It's just, you got to realize that although it goes very well beyond the left-right paradigm, there is, you know, a real struggle right now for power and where it's going to go in a very short period of time too. That's the other thing. The technology stuff that is being implemented on a large scale. Look, I think there's a lot of ignorance on both sides when you're talking about automation, artificial intelligence, satellites, weapon systems, etc. I mean, I continually want to point out what a horrible idea it is to continue to empower Starlink in Ukraine, to continue to act like that guy's not a military industrial complex contractor. Pretty basic, like, without a doubt. Hold on one second. Hit that button, boom. And somehow he's going to come in and make the government more efficient. And I see people sitting there going, he cutting Twitter staff by 90%, and they kept running. And he's like, I'm like, yeah, because 90% of it was about narrative control and censorship. And seeing as this guy's the king of the algorithm, and he's eased up a little bit with this idea that he's a free speech platform, it's easy to get rid of those people. I mean, these are, tech companies based on ideas. So, look, I'm going to be looking into the shooting, obviously. I hope that Trump gets out there and says something within the first 24 hours of this and doesn't just leave it to the surrogates and the media, etc., and talks about what really happened. And again, think about the narratives. First, it's shots outside and surrounding him. They still haven't confirmed whether or not he was even shot at. Watching the press conference, you would think that would have been the first thing to come out. But somehow, some way, they didn't talk about that. But, they instructed the media it was going to be short. They weren't going to have a lot to say. And have their questions as such. So, I think that's going to do it for me, guys. We're on the dog walk. I'm glad the president didn't get shot in the head. And like I said, man, he gets shot in the head. You're not going to like it. It's not going to be fake. This wasn't fake. The other shooting wasn't fake. We're in a shitstorm right now, folks. A shitstorm. So thumbs it up, subscribe, share. Remember, I just put out the Derek Bros Polaris Dawn video. Please go check that out. And if you can, remember, I just got my pay cut on one gig. And the other gig is gone after next week. So if you can, support me down below. The links are there. PayPal, Rockfin, Buy Me a Coffee, all works. I love you guys, and we'll see you on the flip side.